Okay, so today we are going to learn History Chapter 4 of Class 7, which is related to the Mughals. So, in this chapter or in this video, we are going to learn the key points related to this chapter so that when in exam time, if you want to remember the main points or you want to know the clue to write your answers, you will get them, and the chapter you will be able to understand easily. So let's go through it. Okay, so first it is telling that in the Middle Age, a very powerful empire was that of the Mughals. So we all know that after the Delhi Sultanate, it declined. At the end, the last ruler was Ibrahim Lodi. And when Babur attacked Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat, which was in 1526, then he got defeated, and then Babur established the Mughal Empire. From the latter half of the 16th century, they expanded their kingdom from Agra and Delhi. So first, their capital was Mughals' capital was Agra, and then they shifted to Delhi. Until in the 17th century, they controlled nearly all of the subcontinent. At that time, there was no India, so they used to like call it a subcontinent, including all Afghanistan, then your Bangladesh and everything, like all the nearby countries, but together called as subcontinent. So they were like they controlled at the end of the 16th 17th century. They were controlled, like they were controlling the whole subcontinent, leaving a small part of the southern India. Okay, the legacy left by them stands unparalleled. It means that there was nothing matchable to the legacy of the Mughals, like what they did in terms of annexation, in terms of art, literature, and many other things. They did a great job at that time, and no other kingdom could match that thing. Who were the Mughals? Okay, now we would know that who were actually the ancestors of Mughals, from where they belonged to. So Mughals were descendants of two great lineages of the rulers. So one side, from the mother side, they were known with the name of Genghis Khan, and from the father side, they were the descendants of Temur. In Hindi, it is known as Temur, and in English, it is said Timur. So they were known by their names, and you would be surprisingly uh, knowing that Genghis Khan was a person who did a lot of massacre in many places. He used to rule the area Mongolia, and that's why they were known as Mongols also. So from there only this Mughals name derived, but the Mughals didn't like to be called Mughals just because of this identity, that they were the people who used to do massacre. They used to kill people in mass. So yeah, that was the reason. Then we will talk about the Mughal military campaigns. So whenever any empire start expanding, they do some military campaigns. They do battles with the other part of the territory, so that they can capture that. So first Babur, the first Mughal emperor, captured Delhi in 1526 by defeating Ibrahim Lodi in the Battle of Panipat. Then it was Humayun who captured Delhi back in 1555. Why Delhi back in 1555? Because when Humayun was ruling, he ruled between 1530 to 1556. But after 1539, there was a battle between Humayun and Sher Shah Suri. So Sher Shah Suri defeated Humayun, and Humayun was like he left India and he went back to Afghan Afghan or Iran, you should check it. So he went there, and then here Sher Shah Suri, his dynasty, ruled for a long period of time of 15 years. After that, he came back and he fought with the kings later who were like the successors of Sher Shah Suri. he fought with them and then he won back his territory. So yes, he came back in 1555 and then he ruled for 1 year, and he died just because of falling from the stairs of the library. Okay, then third, after Humayun, his son Akbar captured Chittor, the place in Rajasthan, Ranthambore, again the place in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Bihar, Bengal, Kashmir, Berar, Khandesh, all these places, Khandesh or Khandesh, whatever you call it, he just won everything, like all the parts of northern India, you can say. He won between this time period 1585 to 1605. After that, Jahangir came. Jahangir, who was son of Akbar, he also did the same thing. He did a campaign in many areas, like military campaigns in many areas. He fought with Sikhs, he fought with Ahoms, and then he captured those areas. Then came Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan captured Ahmednagar, which is in Maharashtra right now, and Bijapur, it is in Karnataka. So these places, Shah Jahan won, which is the southern part of India. He started capturing, annexing those areas, and then at the end, Aurangzeb came and he fought a long battle with the Deccan part of the country, and he won most of the part, which his uh, his ancestors couldn't do that, so he did that. So this way they controlled almost every part of the subcontinent at that time. So yes, we can say that they had a legacy of like doing great battles and winning those battles and doing these things like annexing and creating a great empire. So we can say that. Okay, then there is a very important thing in this chapter, which is how Mughals used to give their throne to the next generation or next person, like who was like was it the eldest son, or the every child got it. So there were two types of tradition of succession of throne. One was primogeniture and other was coparcenary. So first we will understand primogeniture. According to primogeniture, the eldest son inherited his father's estate. So it was actually the eldest son was supposed to be the next king after the father. So it was primogeniture, but Mughals did not believe in that. Instead of that, they followed the custom of coparcenary, according to which coparcenary inheritance, according to which the property or the kingdom was divided equally among all the sons. Okay, no daughter, only sons. So yes, it was followed by the Mughals. After that, Mughals' relation with other rulers. So India, when they came to India, if you talk about Akbar was called a great ruler under Mughals. Why? Because he was a very tolerant person. He used to respect all the religions. He used to see every person. He used to understand the problem of every community. So he was a great ruler, but was it with everyone? Like everyone or every ruler was like that only in the Mughals? So that is how we are going to know them. The Mughal rulers campaigned constantly against rulers who refused to accept their authority. So there were many rulers in India, local rulers who were not ready to accept that Mughals are the supreme in our country. So they kept fighting battles. So here we saw so many battles. It was just because that they were not accepting their supremacy. So they fought, continuously fought. But there were some people, there were some rulers who used to accept the supremacy of the Mughals. So they used to do the marriage alliances with those people, so those people's daughters. So but as the Mughal became powerful, many other rulers also joined them voluntarily. The Rajputs served the Mughals voluntarily. So there were many kings like Raja Man Singh, and then Amer's ruler, he also accepted that. So Mughal gave Mansab and Jagirs, which helped them to expand their territory. So Mansab is basically the small part of land from where they used to collect the, we can say, the taxes, the revenue Or mansab was also a rank. Mansabdars were the people who used to maintain, train the army, military for the rulers, and whenever they needed them, they used to bring them for the king. So yes, these were the things which these were the responsibilities given to people who were accepting supremacy of the Mughals voluntarily. So yes, so many Rajput rulers got that. The Jagir was actually the land assessment. It was given to the people, or like Mansabdars, those who had to give salary to the military people. So yes, so they used to collect the revenue from there, and then it was given to the people, the army soldiers. Okay. Then Jagirdar was also a post, so Jagirdar was also supposed to collect the taxes. And then the main source of income available to Mughal rulers was tax on the produce of the peasantry. So the farmers used to produce. Out of that, a big portion used to be given as taxes to the Mughals, which was actually the source of income for them. Okay, then Akbar's policy. If we talk about Akbar's policy, we see that Akbar works found in the book Akbarnama, written by Abul Fazl. So the Abul Fazl was in court of Akbar, and he used to be one of the nine gems, Navratna. There also there was a Navratna. Earlier it was in Vikramaditya's court, and it was in Gupta period. So yes, so Abul Fazl had written the biography of Akbar, which was known as Akbarnama. It was a 3-volume book, and Aine Akbari was one of them, in which Akbar's administration, how he used to win the battle, all these things were mentioned in that book. So from there only we got to know the policies of Akbar and administration also. So Akbar divided his kingdom into provinces. So as we see today, our country India is divided into 28 states. So these are basically the small part, so that we can administer it properly. So same way, in Akbar's time, the empire was divided into subas, provinces. They were known as provinces, subas. Those provinces, the small segments of the whole empire, was known as suba, and it was governed by a subedar. So there was a governor, and they were known as subedar. So it's very easy to understand. The suba, province, and the governor was subedar. So Akbar's nobles commanded large armies and had access to large amount of revenue. So those people, Mansabdars, they actually commanded these armies of rulers, and they used to have a lot of revenue. So whatever revenue they used to get, they used to give it to the soldiers as salary. Okay, and those mansabdars had some ranks. Those ranks were known as zat. Zat means rank. So that zat, as high as the zat was, the post of that mansabdar was that high. They were getting high salary like that. Higher the zat, higher the salary. Lower the zat, lower the salary, and lower the responsibility as well. So this was how it was maintained. And in Akbar's time, the number of mansabdars was less. But if we talk about Aurangzeb's time, so as the territory expanded, he needed more mansabdars. So he increased the number of mansabdars, and then the money which they used to collect got less, and then little time by time they found themselves like they are independent ruler in their own small mansab or jagir. So they started becoming the independent ruler, and then the Mughals declined. It was one of the reasons. So yes, you will be learning it in further chapters. Now we will continue with this. While Akbar was at Fatehpur Sikri, he started discussions on religion with the ulemas, Brahmins, Jews, and who were Roman Catholics and Zoroastrians. So there were different religious people sitting in the court of Akbar, and they used to discuss the problems related to their own community, their own religious people. So it shows that how Akbar was so tolerant towards different religion. The discussion took place in the Ibadat Khana. There was a place where they used to do worship. So there they used to sit and they used to discuss certain problems related to different religions. So it shows how Akbar used to respect other religion. Akbar realized that religious scholars emphasized rituals and dogmas were often by gods. So it was like it was said that the rituals which every religion used to have, they were so particular about it. Okay, so Akbar started a new religion which was named as Sulhekul, and it was literally meaning universal peace. So Akbar wanted everyone to follow this religion, where all the good points from different religion was adapted. But unfortunately only 13 people could adapt it. Shah Jahan and Jahangir also followed this principle, so they both followed this. Here Jahangir's spelling is wrong, please pardon for this. Okay, now next is Mughal Empire in the 17th century and after. So when we talk about 17th century, it starts with 1600 century. So 1600. So in 1605 Akbar died, and after that the you can say that a kind of good period of time ended, and after that only the cruel rulers were left. They used to just they used to believe in just expanding their territory and enjoying their luxurious life, nothing else. Means they were not so connected with the people, the subjects. The administrative and military efficiency of the Mughal led to great economic and commercial prosperity, because Akbar has already did a lot of work. So that's why it expanded that time. The Mughal emperor and their mansabdar spent a great deal of their income on salaries and goods. So emperors and their mansabdars, who were actually dependent on the army, they used to give a lot of salary to them so that they perform good. The wealthier peasantry and artisanal groups, the merchants and bankers, profited in this economic world. So at that time everything was going fine, and primary producers however lived in poverty. So basically the farmers who used to have used to give the taxes, they were in problem actually. They were getting poor day by day. And by 18th century several provinces started declaring independence. I said that mansabdars increased in number, and then the ruler started losing the control because they were not so efficient. After Aurangzeb there was no such efficient ruler, so they started losing their control over the mansabdars and they became independent in their own areas. So that's why this the province like that in by 18th century they started declining. Okay, so then uh, it ended. But yes, we can say till modern period we see the influence of Mughals. Like in 1857 there was Bahadur Shah Zafar II. He was declared as the king or emperor, because there was no such ruler from Indian side. So yes, he was declared, but he was not that powerful. So he was captured and he was sentenced to death after that. So yes, with this the Mughals ended, and we can say that a different kind of connection relation was with the Rajput rulers of Mughals, because they used to have marriage alliances with the those Rajput rulers' daughters, and it was a kind of, you can say it was a kind of strategy to maintain friendly relation with the Rajputs, because many of the Rajputs like Sishodia Rajput, they troubled a lot to the Mughal Empire. In the beginning it was Babur who controlled them, but then Akbar struggled, then Jahangir and Shah Jahan, they also struggled. In Shah Jahan period they could control Mewar, so it was a quite long time they took. But yes, this is how we learn this chapter, and it is a very good chapter. If you would learn it, you would read it this chapter after this complete explanation, you would get to know that this chapter is very easy to learn, and you would definitely love it if you would read it now. So I hope you learned something. If you learned something and if you find it useful, you can share it with other students also. Thank you.